The best and worst superhero movies of 2024. A fanboy's guide to a roller coaster year. Superhero fatigue? Never heard of it. Okay, maybe we've heard of it, especially when scrolling through this year's Rotten Tomatoes scores for superhero flicks. But let's face it, 2024 had a little bit of everything. From box office hits to absolute train wrecks, it's been a wild ride. So, let's dive into the caped crusaders who soared, the ones who flopped, and why Deadpool and Wolverine is carrying the genre on its sarcastic shoulders. Madam Web. Rotten Tomatoes score, 11%. Let's start at the bottom of the barrel. Madam Web made headlines for being a movie that, ironically, didn't catch anyone in its web. Critics called it a messy disaster. And even Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney, the film's biggest stars, seemed to have packed their bags and bolted before the reviews hit. It managed to scrape together $100 million, making it the lowest grossing entry in Sony's Spider-Man-less Spider-Man universe. Sony, let's be real. Spider-Man's absence is like trying to sell Batman without the Batmobile. It's just not working. Kraven the Hunter, Rotten Tomatoes score 15%. Oh, Kraven. The big game Hunter became the big box office blunder of the year, with an opening weekend so small it barely covered lunch for the crew. Critics called the story dull, and while some found the film so bad it was almost funny, most audiences decided to sit this one out. If Kraven's goal was to hunt down quality storytelling, he missed the target by a mile. The Crow, Rotten Tomatoes score 22%. This reboot of the 1994 cult classic had a lot riding on it, but not even Bill Skarsgård's haunting performance as Eric Draven could save it. Critics called it incoherent, and with 23 million in ticket sales, it didn't even come close to matching the legacy of its predecessor. Some classics are better left untouched. This Crow barely managed to fly. Joker, Folie, Deux. Rotten Tomatoes score, 32%. Expectations were sky high for this musical sequel to Joker, featuring Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Instead, it stumbled hard, with critics and fans alike scratching their heads over its musical numbers and uneven tone. Despite making $206 million, the hefty $200 million budget and $100 million marketing spend ensured it was no laughing matter for Warner Brothers. A musical Joker movie? Sure, why not? But maybe leave the singing to Disney next time. Hellboy, The Crooked Man, Rotten Tomatoes score, 37%. Hellboy returned to his horror roots, battling witches and demons in a movie that critics couldn't agree on. Some found it delightfully scary, while others were bored to tears. With minimal marketing, it flew under the radar, and audiences barely noticed. Hellboy deserved better than a movie that felt like it was cursed by the very witches it featured. Venom: The Last Dance, Rotten Tomatoes score 41%. The final Venom movie may not have been a critical darling, but fans turned out in droves, propelling it to $475 million at the box office. Eddie Brock and Venom's antics still resonate, even if the story doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Say what you will about Venom, at least he knows how to make a crowd laugh and scream one last time. Deadpool and Wolverine, Rotten Tomatoes score, 78%. And now, the savior of 2024. Deadpool and Wolverine didn't just crush the box office with $1.3 billion. It also won critics over with its meta humor, explosive action, and emotional farewells to beloved characters. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman's bromance lit up the screen, making it the highest-grossing R-rated Disney movie of all time. Deadpool and Wolverine didn't just break the fourth wall. They shattered the myth of superhero fatigue. This is how you do it. Period. Critics may have dragged most of 2024's superhero movies through the mud, but Deadpool and Wolverine showed there's still life and snark in the genre. Sure, we had flops, but if Marvel and DC can learn anything, it's that audiences want heart, humor, and a little bit of chaos. What was your favorite superhero movie of 2024? And which one made you question your life choices? Let us know in the comments, but if you're defending Madame Web, we might need to have a chat.